Hey, listeners, welcome back to Sustainability Street, our podcast on the intersection of commercial real estate and the world we live in. I'm your host, Therese Fitzgerald. I'm just back from the Greenbuild conference in Los Angeles. If you've never been to a Greenbuild, it's really something to witness. Thousands of executives from all areas of the industry, representing firms both in the U.S. and abroad, gather to talk about making buildings and communities more resilient, more energy efficient, and less carbon intensive. And it has an expo floor like no other. There's always a lot of innovation on display. For this special Greenbuild report, I want to share my conversation with Rhiannon Jacobsen, Managing Director of U.S. Market Transformation and Development for the U.S. Green Building Council, which hosts the event. We talked about the themes of the conference, about the new LEED version 5, and some of the headwinds the industry is facing. Sit back and enjoy. Rhiannon, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
What are you finding is the general mood at the conference? What's the buzz?
Yeah, so coming into this conference, we knew that there was a lot of concern. We've experienced some headwinds in the market right now and in terms of the overall industry. That said, Greenbuild is that place where people come to refuel, to get that inspiration, to get the education, the networking, the ability to come together, and also really recognize all of the accomplishments and achievements that have happened this year. There's been tremendous progress that's occurred. We're proud of that, and Greenbuild is able to kind of take that and really make that a positive buzz.
There's definitely a lot of positive energy, I would say. And the theme of the conference, better buildings, better futures. What's the significance of that?
Yeah, so I find this to be an incredibly simple yet effective theme. So when we think about it, better buildings, better futures, I don't know that there's anyone that's going to go like, what's that? Tell me more. Because it really, hinges upon what we've been doing for more than 30 years. The idea that buildings are incredibly important and that if we make them better, if we build them better, we operate them better, we're all going to have a better future ahead.
So there's some very established sustainability strategies, but what are some of the innovations that you're hearing or seeing at the conference that's inspiring you?
That's always going to be kind of top for me. But then when you think about, there's so much conversation around data, around AI, around how digital tools can drive the work, kind of faster, better. So certainly those conversations, I'll say there's a lot of work to be done there still. I'm also hearing about great new materials that are coming out that can really support a low or kind of no carbon building. So certainly seeing the way that products and materials are going to match up with what we're asking for from buildings, that's an exciting area. Some of the other spaces that I'm seeing, a lot of work that's happening, I'm focused at a sector level. We've got roundtables on everything from data centers to hospitality to the public sector, which really allow people to come together in neighborhood, if you will, in this huge community and industry. Good news, green building is everyone. Bad news, green building is everyone, because people want to be able to talk to their peers, connect to others who are doing and experiencing the same work, the same challenges.
Yeah, I think that allows for more depth too. So Rhiannon, this year USGBC released LEED version 5. What's different about LEED 5?
I'm bullish about this and certainly biased. LEED version 5 is the best version of LEED that we've ever released. We've really been talking about the fact that the best buildings in the world utilize LEED. And when we think about what we're kind of creating and putting out in the market, LEED version 5 is both going to open up access for projects, for consultants to be able to deliver on low or no carbon buildings, but it's also going to kind of raise the bar overall. It's going to simplify things in certain areas. So there's a number of pieces about LEED version 5 that really drive into that best rating system. When we think about what's different, LEED version 5 directly includes some of the most pressing topics in today's world. So resilience. Certainly here in California, that is a conversation that everybody is having. You can't have a conversation about building and community development without talking about resilience. And if you are, you're having the wrong conversation. You also see inclusions around areas like social equity, really woven throughout the entire rating system. I don't want to say larger, but more defined kind of connection to health and wellness. LEED always had a heavy focus in health and wellness. You see even more of that with this rating system and kind of the ability to connect those points to the work that's happening.
What's something that a lot of people don't know about LEED 5 that you want them to know?
Yeah, great question. A couple of other areas about V5 that I think make this very unique for the organization. We'll be releasing to every single project that certifies under V5 a project impact scorecard. So this is going to allow an owner, an operator, really the ability to show exactly what they're kind of driving in the progress and advancement that's happening in that building. They're going to be able to share metrics that come along with that. That can be shared with a tenant, that can be shared with a municipality, it could be shared at the dining room table. It really allows for that value proposition to be built out. Another area that I'm particularly excited about with V5, we have guaranteed a 5-year cycle around all future iterations of the LEED rating system. So what you're going to hear us talk about in 5 years is going to be LEED version 6. That allows anyone who's working with LEED to really understand exactly where we're going and when. And certainly that's going to be something we're going to be really focused on so that people aren't thinking, when is that next version of LEED coming?
That's exciting. So federal support for sustainability is a lot different than it was a year ago. How are you keeping your members on track, keeping them enthusiastic when some of the tax incentives are going away and they're hearing conflicting things in their hometowns about sustainability?
Yeah, so when we think about federal, I think there are a couple of important areas to kind of really point out. In 2024, we were at an unprecedented high. So that was, unto itself, very different. I've been with the council now for more than 19 years. I have, not seen that kind of support at that level. So that was an unprecedented high. Certainly in January of 2025, things became a little bit different. So we went from kind of the highest of highs to some pretty serious reductions or stepping back. It's really important to remember when we think about our federal government, they've been an essential driver for kind of the foundation in the beginning of LEED. Everything from initial charitable funding to establishment of things like their high performance buildings, moving ahead by requiring things like LEED, sustainable sites. They've done some amazing work, and it's really created kind of cycle and chain within private and other public sector spaces and places. The good news that we're seeing, local and state activity, really positive. We see incredible work happening at the city, at the state, at the county level. We're going to continue to encourage that. We're of course going to be available to kind of speak with and support federal initiatives. It's important for us to be engaged and really be looking at the ways in which we can support what is still happening and how things might evolve as we go.
So what is USGBC's hope for this conference? What do they want people to take away?
That's a great question. You're going to hear a lot of different answers and that's one of the pieces when we talk about how big green building is, right? You're going to talk to people and they're going to say, I am here specifically to find these 5 materials. I need solutions that are going to work, and I'm not going to stop until I find that. You're going to hear other people really say, I'm here because I need to see 10 people that I only see once a year at this conference. So there will be some of those very individual. When we think about what the hope is for the conference, we hope that people arrive, that they get best in class education, that they're able to meet with one another, that they're able to create peer collaboratives and cohorts, that they're able to share their experiences. We can talk till we're blue in the face about LEED buildings and about the opportunity. But when people start talking about what they're doing and really showing, how are they able to accomplish it, that's incredibly important. So I think hope for the conference that you leave out of here inspired, educated, and really ready for the year ahead. We've got a big challenge. We've got a big mission, and it's going to take a lot of people really at their kind of best, brightest, highest capacity. And we want to create the experience here that allows for that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
And thank you, listeners, for joining me on Sustainability Street. If you have any questions about this episode or suggestions for future episodes, please reach out to me at Therese.Fitzgerald@cpe-mhn.com. Bye for now.